President Trump back in Washington this morning, leaving the G7 early as the war flares between Israel and Iran. The conflict just too big to be out of the country right now. And the stark warning he's giving to Tehran. Plus, a political hit list and a deadly shooting spree. Who investigators believe the alleged Minnesota gunman was targeting and the national names in his sights. And the black boxes now found, what they could reveal about the deadly Dreamliner crash in India and why it went down with more than 270 people on board. The stories that matter, clear and credible, from across the country to around the world. These are your unbiased updates from Straight Arrow News. Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Big things already happening while you slept. President Trump is back in the United States this morning after leaving the G7 summit early as tensions between Israel and Iran escalate. Multiple reports say Donald Trump ordered the National Security Council to be ready in the Situation Room when he landed. He did not give a specific reason for leaving Western Canada, but pushed back on French President Emmanuel Macron's suggestion that he was rushing home to broker a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Trump posted on Truth Social that the reason was, quote, much bigger than that. He then told reporters aboard Air Force One, "We are not looking for a ceasefire." Before departing, he joined G7 leaders in a statement saying Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Overnight, Iran launched additional missile strikes on Israel, but Israeli officials called it the least impactful night of the attack so far. In response, Israel struck back, claiming to hit dozens of missile and drone storage sites inside Iran. In what might be a warning, Trump said on Truth Social, everybody should evacuate Tehran. President Trump's early exit from the G7 means a planned meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky is canceled today. It would have been their second face-to-face since their contentious meeting at the White House back in February. They were also both at the funeral for Pope Francis in Rome in April. Today's meeting was expected to focus heavily on aid and defense support, especially in light of what happened overnight in Kyiv. A Russian missile and drone strike in Kyiv killed at least 14 people and injured 99 others in one of the deadliest attacks on the capital in months. Zelensky said Russia launched more than 440 drones and 32 missiles, calling the damage some of the most horrific Kyiv has seen since the war began. Ukraine's interior minister confirmed to reporters that an American citizen is among the dead, killed by shrapnel. That's according to the Associated Press. Meanwhile, a separate drone strike in Odessa killed one person and injured 17 others. That's according to local officials there. This morning in Washington, senators are getting a high-level security briefing from U.S. Capitol Police and the Senate Sergeant-at-Arms. That deadly attack on state lawmakers in Minnesota is sparking new fears of political violence. The suspect, 57-year-old Vance Bolter, is charged with killing Minnesota House Democratic leader Melissa Hortman and her husband, and shooting State Senator John Hoffman and his wife in a targeted home invasion. Authorities say Bolter was disguised as a police officer, wearing a tactical vest and body armor, and had a hit list of more than 45 Democratic officials. Among them, U.S. Senator Tina Smith and State Representatives Hillary Scholten and Greg Landsman. The briefing was requested by Senate leaders Chuck Schumer and John Thune, who are also reviewing security support for members under threat. Investigators say Bolter had been planning the attacks for some time, driving to multiple lawmakers' homes equipped with assault weapons, disguises, and detailed surveillance notes. Investigators in India are analyzing the black boxes recovered from the wreckage of Air India Flight 171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner that crashed just minutes after takeoff, killing at least 270 people last week. We had it as breaking news here on Straight Arrow News. The London-bound jet slammed into a medical hostel near Ahmedabad, leaving only one survivor from the 242 on board. Dozens on the ground also killed. Investigators have recovered both the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, the latter capturing pilot conversations, alarms, and any final distress calls that could reveal what happened in those final moments. The plane only went up in the air for a few hundred feet before descending, crashing, and causing a massive fireball in a neighborhood. U.S. and U.K. officials are assisting India's investigation. Meanwhile, Air India is under pressure to inspect its entire Boeing Dreamliner fleet as questions grow about mechanical failures and crew response in one of the country's worst aviation disasters in decades. You know the phrase, hurry up and wait? Boy, was that the case outside the Louvre in Paris. Take a look. Thousands of frustrated tourists stood in the heat Monday, can you imagine? Only to find the world's most visited museum closed. Lines snaking up the stairs and around the building, packed with people hoping to catch a glimpse of the Mona Lisa. Instead, they got a strike. Workers walked off the job saying they're overwhelmed by what they call unimaginable crowds. Ticket agents, security staff, and gallery attendants refused to take their posts after a company meeting, citing outdated infrastructure, water leaks, and too much foot traffic to handle safety. One American tourist called it the Mona Lisa moan, saying there was no sign, no explanation, and thousands left in the dark under the iconic glass pyramid. No word yet on when the Louvre will reopen. Finally this morning, the Oklahoma City Thunder are just one win from capturing their team's first ever NBA title after a big Game 5 win last night against the Indiana Pacers. Jalen Williams scored 40 points for the Thunder as they beat the Pacers 120-109. The league MVP, Alexander, had 31 points. Oklahoma City has now come from 2-1 down in this series to lead 3-2. Game 6 is Thursday night back in Indiana, where the Pacers will try to stay alive. Meantime, tonight in Sunrise, Florida, the Stanley Cup will be in the building as the Florida Panthers try to go back-to-back and win hockey's holy grail, Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. By the way, a guy named Phil Pritchard, who has been the keeper of the Cup for decades, will be there waiting to see if the Florida Panthers win, and he would then award the winning team the Cup. That's Phil and me in Wichita, Kansas, when he brought the Stanley Cup to our studios in 2020. He's a great guy. It's an absolute icon, and we shall see if he awards it tonight or whether the Edmonton Oilers could defeat the Panthers and force Game 7. Wow. Your friendly neighborhood news anchor. I'm going to be tired tomorrow. Those are your unbiased updates for this Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.